Hello, Elena. Delighted to be chatting with you. Myself and Steve Evans here.
Hi, hi, Elena. Good to meet you.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. So you're in Varna in Bulgaria now. A couple of questions. How is it today there? Is it nice and sunny like it is here
Oh,
in England?
it's finally amazing. It finally feels like summer here. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Okay. So is Varna near a seaside? Is it on the beach or near a
Yeah,
resort?
it's at the Black Sea coast.
Wow.
Oh, is it? Oh, wow. So it's a good popular holiday resort then, is it as well?
Pretty much, yeah. I think it's considered the what they call the sea capital of Bulgaria. Yeah, it's got a few beautiful resorts, and just the nature here is absolutely amazing.
Incredible, yeah, yeah. I was just thinking about going on holiday soon, Terry, and I don't know where to go, and I'm thinking about somewhere like Bulgaria or
Yeah.
I don't know yet. So I'm just edging my bets here and asking questions of Elena.
Ah. Elena,
Brilliant.
but besides writing, do you have any hobbies or pastimes? I see on your excellent website, Elena Carter author, that you review other fiction writers. And plus now you've got your own podcast. Is this hobbies for you?
Well, kind of. That's one of the latest developments. I started my podcast about, I think, 2 months ago.
Hmm.
Um, just kind of felt like sharing, my writing and publishing journey, and hopefully maybe encouraging some beginning writers out there, and just talking about books and stuff.
Okay.
Apart from that, over 10 years, I've been making gemstone jewelry
Oh,
before I started
Wow.
writing. Well, I was doing a lot of things, but yeah, my main hobby used to be handcrafted gemstone jewelry.
yeah. Well,
That
So have you got? Oh, go on. I was going to say, have you got a load of like tools and a little workshop to make that in?
Yep, a lot. Everything is packed away nicely in boxes now because I have a 3-year-old at home. So I pretty much stopped, yeah, when I had my second son. And why? Because it doesn't leave me much time, and it's really not something that you do around a little baby at home, all the little
No.
tiny things. That's not kid friendly at all. And around the same time when he was just a few months old, I decided to start writing finally, after dreaming about it for my whole life.
Okay, yeah. I just talking about jewelry for a little bit longer. When I went to Greece and I went to the island of Rhodes. I went and visited lots of jewelry workshops, and it was incredible the intricacy and the tiny jewels they were playing with and all that. And imagine that round a child, it just wouldn't work, would it?
Yeah, that
Anyway,
doesn't work.
yeah. Moving on then to your books, if you like, you've got 6 very impressive titles on your Amazon page. So do you write full time, considering you've got a young toddler, 3-year-old toddler, or
Yeah.
have you got a balanced life? Is it a life balance?
Well, I do my best. I don't know, balance in life is a very evasive thing, isn't it? We think that's what we all keep looking for all the time, constantly. Yeah, I'll try to find time. I try to find time. I mostly write during his nap times, to be honest, because well, he's 3.5 now, is very active, doesn't leave me much time for anything. But I started writing my first book actually on my phone. I was typing it on my phone.
what?
Wow.
You've got tiny fingers.
That is, yeah, well, I didn't have any other opportunities to do it. And I just, yeah, like most of my, I'd say 80-90% of the book was actually typed on my phone while I was nursing,
Wow.
sleeping, while he's napping in the day. And then I thought that later it will get easier. Yeah,
Hmm.
it doesn't. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. Because you actually have more time with a little baby who actually sleeps more during the day than when you have with a toddler who's like, like running around, and you have to keep him safe and to keep him out of trouble most of the time. But I still managed somehow. And I released my third book in a trilogy 2 or 3 days ago on the 30th of May.
Brilliant.
And I published a couple short stories apart from that. But yeah, speaking of novels, I have a whole trilogy out now.
Brilliant. That was
Excellent.
the as well as the short stories and the standalone novel, The Secret Spell. So you've got the trilogy out now. Is that it now for that series, or is there more to come, or is it going to stay as a trilogy? The Dream
It's gonna
Trainer
stay as a
Chronicles.
trilogy. Yeah, the Dream Tamer Chronicles is gonna stay as a trilogy. I've already moved on. I mean, I started working on some other projects, and to be honest, when I was writing the first book, I was originally planning it as a standalone. You know, Follow the Hummingbird, the first book. I didn't know that there would be a series, but by the end of writing the book, I just kind of felt like, you know, there was more coming.
Yeah.
And some side characters,
Hmm.
they wanted their story told, and I'm like, okay, I think I should make it into a series. And yeah, so the other 2 books were born, but now it's bittersweet because of course I got so attached to the world, to the characters, that I think book 3 ended with a nice wrapped up happy ending for everyone. Everyone got the closure. So yeah, I'm just moving on to new projects.
Okay. In a way, they're like your children, aren't they? You know, they're your creation. You know, they come from you.
Yeah.
That's why the characters live on with you.
Yeah, yeah.
True
Okay.
enough. Yeah, yeah. So going back to or talking about publishing your books now, you went down the indie route, the independent route to publish. Did you try going through a publisher or attracting a publisher to write your books, and did you find it difficult and decide to abandon that, or just tell us a bit about how it went? It was probably quite difficult, I'd imagine.
You know what? To be honest, I didn't really try. Yeah, I researched the subject.
Yeah.
I realized how much work it is,
Yeah.
and not just work. I realized how much time it can take, and I don't know. I guess I was, you know, part of me was just impatient. I wanted to get it out there because I started writing quite late. Yeah, I started writing when I was 40, and I was like, well, I'm finally following my dream. Yeah, and I have this book, and I want to see it out there. And considering that there is this amazing opportunity now these days to actually go ahead and self-publish a book and really produce a great quality, you know, as long as you really put a lot of effort into it and you have it professionally edited, you make a professional book cover, you can actually produce an amazing quality of a book and put it out there and have the unlimited creative freedom. You know, that was one of the reasons basically why I chose the self-publishing route. So first I was impatient. I was like, okay, I don't really
Yeah.
want to spend like months and years.
Yes.
The most
Yes.
I did was I participated once in a pitch event on Twitter, and I think that was it. That was it. Tried to pitch it, and I was like, okay, well, it was a great experience, and I met so many cool people on Twitter, and I'm like, but I don't think I'm doing that. I think I want my cover, I want my creative freedom, I want to have my say in everything that concerns the publishing. So I just decided to go ahead and do it myself.
Excellent. So you've done it yourself. What about the book covers? So some of those book covers behind Terry there are
Superb.
excellent. So who designed them? Did you do them as well?
Well, actually, now I'm looking at Amanda, the short story that's the most recent short story that I published. That one I did myself, and I think that's the only one.
Wow.
The trilogy, the Dream Tamer Chronicles, because I get a lot of feedback. People are usually really like amazed by the covers because they are really outstanding. They're all professionally made, and they are all made by different designers. That's another thing that usually surprises people when I tell them. It's not the same designer. It's not the same design teams, even. They are made by different people, and it kind of just started out with the first book. And when I got when I got the image and when I got the style, and I saw that this is a perfect fit, this is what my cover should look like. And later on, when I was publishing my second book and third book, I basically was just working along with the designers and telling them that, guys, we really need to make this in one style. It has to be apparent that these are 3 books in a series. It has to be like the fonts and the vibe, mostly the vibe, because you look at these covers and you get this dreamy, fantastic vibe, because these novels are about traveling to different worlds in your dreams. So I think that is something that I wanted to really get across through the cover, and I guess I did a pretty good job.
Yeah, they are excellent. I do like them a lot. Yeah, really good. Yeah, but when you wrote your books then, and as you said, you went down the independent route. Did you get someone to proofread them and edit them for you? Someone independent?
Absolutely,
I would have thought you did. Yeah.
I had beta readers.
Yeah.
So first, when I finished my first draft, I go through a round or 2 of edits myself. So first, I do my revisions, which are never enough. You always need to have a professional editor, and you need another pair of eyes on your book always, because it's just not possible to see everything. I don't think it's possible to completely detach yourself, from your writing, and
totally
put
agree.
on the editor's head, or like even the reader's head, because the message that you want to get across, and you don't know if you are getting it across in the right way, because you're not the reader, you're the writer, right? So I had professional editors. They are all professional edited. They've had beta readers also. So first they go to several beta readers, and I look at their feedback and I see what they have to say, and if the same comments or the same, wouldn't say complaints, but insights, let's say the same insights,
suggestions,
suggestions, if they're not like a single very subjective opinion, but if they repeat several times from different people, then that this is something that you really need to pay attention to.
Yes.
So and then they go to an editor, and then I work on the edits, and I implement all the changes and suggestions from the editor, and then there's a round of proofreading. And even after all that, some typos they do sneak in. That's also the truth of life. Always happens. And then I usually, before the release, I send out my books to ARC readers, the advanced reader copy, and they find an odd typo or like a misplaced comma.
You see that now in traditionally published books. I'm seeing like at least one typo every chapter.
Yeah, sometimes I see a lot of typos in traditionally published books.
Yeah, definitely.
Typos. I'm an avid reader myself. I read a lot. And I read all kinds of books. I read a lot of indie books recently, especially these last 3 years. And I have read a lot of amazing books with a few typos here and there, maybe a few mistakes here and there. I can say that as a reader, if the story is strong, if the story is compelling, if I find myself immersed in the story, if I find myself attached to the character, honestly, I don't mind. I don't care.
We're all human.
Pull me out of the story. I'm like, oh, okay, it's a typo. Well, some writers, like if I know the writer personally, like if we're in the same writing community, and sometimes I can say, like, do you want me to point out, if I found a typo, I can like message you and say, like, I found this, if you want to maybe like, change the manuscript and re-upload it. But I'm never like insistent or pushy with that, because not everybody wants that, right? I'd never let it affect my review, for example. I'd never post a negative review saying that, oh my God, I found a typo, because again, sometimes I'll admit I have read books that were so poorly edited that actually kept me like, stalling and stopping and starting again, because sometimes when it really doesn't have the editing, the proper level of editing, it's not me being nitpicky, it's just you cannot fully comprehend what the person is trying to tell them, and let alone like fully dive into the story, feel everything, because you're reading through the sentence or through the paragraph 3 times in a row, and you're trying to understand what's happening there. So these things happen.
Total distraction, isn't it? It's a distraction from the reading.
They can be very distracting.
It can be.
There's a lot of mistakes. If there's a lot of mistakes, I don't know if there's like, if the grammar is wrong, I don't know if the punctuation is so wrong that you like actually have to really struggle to figure out what's happening. An odd mistake here and there, a typo or two, it doesn't distract me from reading.
Okay.
If I see a great story, this is what reading is about. It's about a great story. It's about what it makes you feel. And if it triggers some feelings and emotions, I don't care about little mistakes.
Job done if it does that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Elena, you mentioned that you read a quite wide range of fiction. Is fantasy your choice of genre for fiction readings?
Well, pretty much, yeah. I read a lot of fantasy because I write fantasy. And it's really important, I think, for any writer to be also an avid reader and try to read as much as possible in their genre. Try to discover new authors, discover new styles, new ideas. I don't know. It's just I guess being in that atmosphere, being on that vibe. Is very important, but I can't say that this is the only genre I read. It's one of my favorite genres for sure, but I read many things. I read sci-fi. I read rom-coms. I read women's fiction. I read non-fiction. I really read a lot. I guess the one genre I'd say I hardly ever read is horror. I'm not really into horror stuff. Like maybe slight elements, but not nothing too. And well, the only time I have to read is very, very late at night after my baby goes to sleep. So it's the last thing you want to read at that time is something spooky, right?
I totally agree. Absolutely, 100% agree with that. Yeah, same with horror films for me as well. I don't like that playing on my mind just before going to sleep. Shadows on the wall.
Very scared of his own shadow.
I can be like that too, I know.
You've got your books out or your novels out in Kindle and paperback. Is there any plans to do it on audio versions, to get someone to narrate it for you?
I'd love to. I've been getting this question from many people, and I don't even know. Well, first of all, of course, again, it's a lot of it's a great investment, time-wise, and financially, and it's even publishing that is very time-consuming and energy-consuming. So that's a very, very big deal to go ahead and publish 3 more audiobooks. Another factor is that I never ever listened to an audiobook myself. Here, I said it. I haven't ever tried. I've always loved books, and I had this feeling that I probably wouldn't be a fan of audiobooks because, you know, I'm like this old-fashioned style, you know, that like I want to hear it in my voice, and I want to like imagine it in my head. But to be fair, this is wrong to say because I never tried, right? So that's just, I don't know, that's just some kind of a stereotype or misconception in my head that I will most probably give it a try someday. But on the other hand, it's also okay that some people are more, you know, visual, you know, in their oriented in their, you know, in the comprehension of information, and some more audio, and I guess I'm more of a visual.
I've found that people, it's like a Marmite type of thing with audiobooks. People love them or they hate them. I've only ever listened to one in my life, and to be honest, I prefer turning a page, the physical copies of it. But it's a new medium, and some people say that it's the future of publishing, is the audiobook.
It's also because I work at the local hospital, there's a lot of people have to rely on audiobooks because they can't see because they're partially blind or partially sighted. So they rely on them. So, you know, there is a market for it. And, you know, you could be missing a trick by not doing it in a way. But, you know, it's horses for courses. It's up to you, obviously, you know.
I definitely agree to that. There is a market for it, and the life is changing. The world is changing. You know, 20 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, we were only being introduced to ebooks. There was this battle against that. This is not real. Looking at the screen, you need to turn the page. I always was one of those people, to be honest. I love physical books. Yeah, I love the feel, I love the smell, I love the look of it. I love physical books. But I mostly read ebooks now. You know, first of all, again, I have a little kid. And when he was like even younger, he wouldn't even let me hold a paper book because he'd probably like eat it or hurl it across the room. And I read at night. I read at night in the dark in my bed. Yeah, I read on my phone, actually, not on a Kindle. Yeah, so it's easy, it's convenient. Yeah, and I moved countries 10 years ago, and I left all my books behind. And I've been moving a lot since I moved to Bulgaria. I've been also moving a lot, and so I don't even have that massive collection of physical books that I used to have. So of course, ebooks, they have their own pros, they have their own convenience. You know, you can, in this little phone, I can store like a whole library, right? And read it at any point. Just charge your phone and, you know, you're ready to go. But absolutely, every format, you know, every format has a market. Every format will always have people who will prefer that. There will be people who will prefer hardcovers. They'll say, no, they're not good enough, or they like too flimsy, or, you know, those are prettier, and these are like they won't last as long. And some people will say, no, what, a hardcover, really? And then when you read it in your bed, and then you drop it on your face. I mean, there can be any kind of argument, right? So definitely, I would love at some point to explore that market. But again, it comes down to time and money, right? It's an investment. It's a lot of work, and when I'm ready, I will definitely go.
It's an impressive virtual background you've got there with the books.
Oh, I love it. It's
superb library.
I got it on Splish.
Nice one. Can you tell me about your writing routine? Do you plot in detail your writing, or do you just sort of go along by the seat of your pants? Are you a plotter or a pantser?
I am a pantser. Well, I'm kind of a plantser, because when I start, I do have a rough outline.
No one said that before. I like that, a planter. Yeah, I'm just making a note there. Sorry.
You know, I don't plan every chapter, for example. I will have a rough outline. I know who my character is. I know what happens at the beginning. I know where the story is going. I know pretty much what happens by the end of it. But everything else, this story kind of unravels as I write. You know, new adventures appear, new worlds appear, new side characters appear. You know, the main character of my second book, follow the blueprint. She is the side character in the first book. It was not planned. Originally, she wasn't in the plan, and I keep saying that she wanted to appear in my book, because one day I was writing one chapter and she just kind of appeared. I was like, oh, okay, hello, who are you? My main character kind of just meets her in the cafe, and as I write, I'm like, oh wow, this woman is, wow, she's amazing. She's so interesting, and she grew into a very, very important character. And by the end of the first book, I knew that her story needs to be told. And in book 2, she's the main character now. So yeah, this is how it goes. I have a rough outline. I make a document saying that, like, this is what's happening. This is my character, a short character bio, so that I know, what my character is about. Their background, their personality and things like that. But then the magic of it is actually when they come up with their own lines. They come up with their own plots and twists and adventures, and I love it.
That's the magic of writing. Yeah.
I guess before that you're more of a pantser, if you want, or what was that word, Terry?
A planter, yeah. Mixture, hybrid.
I sort of guessed that because what you were saying about you do it, you write things on your phone or you type it out on your phone. So I thought you must think of it and then get your phone out and do it straight away. But do you have in your house maybe a special room to sit there and write if you can, or is that not possible with a toddler?
I actually write in my mom's kitchen.
Oh, cool.
I have a little bit more with the second 2 books. I had a little bit more time to write, because my mom comes to babysit my toddler in the daytime, just to feed him and put him down for a nap. So that hour and a half that I have while he's napping, and she lives very close, like 2 floors down. So I just grab my laptop and I run downstairs, and I just sit at her table and I use that hour and a half. Depending on how long he sleeps, I use that to the max. I use it to write. I write as much as I can, and then I get a text from her like, he's up. He's asking for mommy. I'm like, okay, done. Safe, done. Shut laptop, go. So yeah, this is very much my my writing routine. I try to write every from Monday to Friday, because on weekends we usually have other plans. But from Monday to Friday, every day she'll come in the afternoon, and if everything is okay, and if everything goes according to plan, then I have like an hour, and maybe I manage to, maybe write about 1,000 words, let's say, on average. But it differs, of course. It differs. Some days are better, some days are worse. Some days I have to actually do marketing or write a newsletter or record a podcast. So it's not even like writing every day. But whenever I can, or I get ideas, there's always my phone and the same Google Docs on my phone, very handy. I can always even open the same chapter that I was working on and just continue typing there.
Yeah.
So this is, I found this as the most convenient routine for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So finally, from me then, what advice would you give for somebody who's going to write a book for the first time? What would you say to them the best way to go about it?
Well, first of all, I would say don't be afraid. Yeah, because fear and doubt is what stops us. Yeah, I've wanted to write my whole life. I started writing when I was 40. And I'm very glad that I did, because I could have continued going like that and saying, well, what if I can't? Or like, oh, it's too late. I'm too old for that. Anyway, no, it's never too late. You can start. You need to be ready to take that first step. You need to believe in yourself and that you can do it, and that it's worth it. Yeah. And if you set it as a priority, following your dream, then sooner or later, in any circumstance, you will get the results. I wrote 3 books with a baby on my hands with very, very, very limited time, right? So we all have our different circumstances, and we all can come up with excuses when we want to, but just stay true to yourself. Is this your dream? Do you want to pursue it? Are you ready? Then push your fears aside and start. you really can do it. You really can.
Excellent.
Okay, excellent. And I must ask, while I remember, because I was just looking back through some of your testimonial that I was looking at earlier on. You say that magic actually exists and coffee can pretty much fix anything. Do you stand by that still?
Absolutely. You know, my characters drink so much coffee. I actually had a comment from one of my readers. She posted, I think it was on TikTok, and she was like, "Can somebody please tell that writer to stop writing about coffee all the time?" Because she said, I read it in the middle of the night, and I'm like, okay, I feel like getting myself a cup of coffee now.
I feel like one now. Now we mention it. Yeah, Elena, time's caught up with us, but it's been an absolute joy to chat with you. I could happily chat to you for hours, but as I say, time's caught up. But let's just say thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you. It's been brilliant.
It's a great honor for me, and it's been an absolute pleasure.
The honour's with us, I think. Yeah, but thanks very much, and you have a lovely weekend.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks very much. Enjoy your weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have
But
a
for
great
now,
start. Bye-bye.
bye for now.
Bye.